What's going on, guys? Welcome back to this video. Today we're going to discuss the second part of Zeke. First, let's do an overview of what we have done in the last video. In the last video, what we did, we covered an overview of Zeke, and we mentioned that Zeke can be used as packet analyzer. We also mentioned that Zeke can be used to correlate events, so basically event correlations. And we also mentioned that Zeke can be run in two modes. The first mode is service mode, and the other mode is in offline or from the command line. Let me modify this. So it is from the command line directly. We can run this from the command line. We also said that Zeke can be used to analyze packets in two modes. The first one in live mode, and the other one is in offline mode. Okay. And another thing we talked about is the difference between Zeke and snort, right? We mentioned that while both can be considered, so Zeke and snort can both be considered as IDS, IPS systems. However, Zeke is more focused on events. Snort is more focused on alerts. Zeke creates 50 plus types of logs, okay, and snort focuses on signatures, uses signatures. We also said that Zeke relies on the scripting engine to correlate events. On the other hand, snort relies on signatures. Okay. We also took some examples on how to analyze pcap files. So we said that we can invoke Zeke from the command line, Zeke-C-R, and then the sample pcap. We also covered that after analyzing the pcap file, okay, Zeke will generate logs. The logs are, some of them protocol dependent, some of them are detection based, right, and some of them are observational. Okay, so now we have covered an introduction to Zeke and how to use Zeke to analyze pcap files and analyze the logs. Next, let's talk about signatures. So much like in snort, Zeke can use signatures. So Zeke can use signatures, right, to catch certain events. So for example, what we can do here, we can invoke Zeke from the command line, say Zeke-C-R, and we give a sample pcap, and then we can use a signature file by specifying that with the option -s, and then we say, for example, FTP brute force dash or .sig. Okay, what's going to happen when we specify a signature file? What's going to happen? Well, Zeke is going to analyze the pcap file using its engine, right? And then we'll use the signature that we provided, okay, to catch certain events. Now the signature file here has a breakdown. Let's go over the breakdown of a sample signature file. This is a sample signature file in Zeke. As you can see, we specify the signature name, and then in here we specify what the signature is supposed to catch, or what event is supposed to create a hit. So here the protocol is TCP, and we use a regular expression to match any username with as admin, and then the event will be printed out to the command line specifying that FTP admin login attempt. That's an example of signature. This is another example of Zeke signature. It uses, as you can see, two matches. The first one is on the username, and the other one is on the username, but it uses different method of matching the event. Here we use a regular expression to match the username admin. On the next signature match, we use the FTP response code. FTP 530 response code indicates an incorrect login. So we want to catch incorrect logins. Okay. At the same time, we want to kind of specify that the incorrect login should come from a username as admin. When the signature hits or matches a specific event in the packet capture, we will have an output in the command line. So that's an example of an FTP signature. Now let's go back here. So here we learned how to use the signatures. There's another thing about signatures is the structure of the signature. So let's suppose that you want to create a signature file yourself to match a specific event or to create a specific hit. We should remember that a signature in Zeke consists of the following components. The first thing is the signature ID. Oops. Let's correct that. So first component, the signature ID. Here, the signature ID should indicate or should represent or should reflect the signature name. For example, we can say signature FTP admin. That's the signature name, and then we start to create the rule. The other component of the signature is the conditions. What are the conditions that, if met or detected on the pickup file, will create a hit? So in the condition, we specify a header and we specify content. In the header, we actually use filters for the packet, such as source, destination, IP addresses, and ports. We specify them here in the header. In the content, we look for patterns in the payload. We call it the payload content. We use regular expressions, we use other things to spot in the traffic or the pickup file. The third component is the action. So what we want to do if the condition is met. So usually if you don't specify an action in the signature file, what's going to happen? It's going to trigger the default action. The default action is to create log files. So when you run this, when you run the signature file against the pickup or the packet capture, if you don't specify an action in the signature file here, it's going to take the default action, which is creating two log files. The first one is signature.log. The other one is notice.log. Now, the action will be taken if there was a hit, meaning if the conditions are met or was specified if the conditions was found in the packet capture. Okay. So if you don't want to trigger a default action, we can add a custom action. So if the signature or if the condition is met, we can trigger a Zeke script. Now that's what we're going to talk about in the next section. A Zeke script is a specially created script using the Zeke scripting language. It's a proprietary language by Zeke, which has its own domain. So creating Zeke scripts requires you to master or to be able to at least learn the basics of scripting with Zeke. Now what does the Zeke script do? You can configure to do whatever you want. Usually Zeke scripts are used to correlate events. So events correlation. Alright, now it's time to talk about the Zeke scripts. Okay, so let's create a new page. And here we're going to talk about Zeke scripts. So Zeke scripts. We mentioned that Zeke scripts are first used to or used in event correlations. So another thing is data extraction. Okay, another thing is to trigger an action on the signature. Okay, so here in event correlations, what do we mean by that? It means if we use scripts, okay, combined with the signature we have created before. Let's give an example. For example, let's say we have the FTP brute force signature, and we have a Zeke script. Let's say it is it could be something like, you know, hostname .Zeke. All Zeke scripts are created with the extension .Zeke. Okay, now if we run these both together, what's gonna happen? Let's say we have a pcap file has a sample pcap, and Zeke will run both the signature file and the hostname script. So if Zeke detects that there is a brute force attempt according to the signature file, it's going to generate a hit. So we have a hit here, and then it's going to extract the host name that generated the hit. Say for example we had someone attempting brute force on one of our machines whose host name is WP1. Another machine has the host name WP2. But the attacker was trying to guess the username and password on the machine whose hostname is WP1. So by default, Zeke will trigger an event or a hit that there was a brute force attempt against this machine. The script, when run, it's going to extract again the host name of this machine. So that's what we mean by events correlation. We correlate the information between the signature and the script. So data extraction, we can run Zeke scripts to extract specific data from a pcap file, such as host names, as we talked about here. An action on the signature can be such as creating a log file if the signature or the condition in the signature has been satisfied. Now, usually, guys, all of the scripts are located under specific directories. So by default, so here we have /opt /Zeke share Zeke base. Under this directory, we can see all the default scripts that come with Zeke. There are on total 465 scripts. Now, if you want to create customized Zeke scripts, you can place them under the same directory, opt Zeke share Zeke /site. Here we store the user generated scripts. Okay. For example, let's take an example. Say you want to run Zeke on a specific pcap file, okay, and you want to invoke a specific script. So you can say Zeke -c-r sample.pcap, okay, and then you can specify the Zeke script. If you want to use, or if you want to run all of the local scripts, you can just use the keyword local in your command. Now, if you want to run the scripts that were user generated, you have to specify the path in the command line. So here, the same command, but you're going to specify the name of the user generated script, meaning opt, and then you have Zeke share Zeke site. Under site you have, let's say, ftp.zeke. You have created the script yourself and you place it here, and then you can invoke it from the command line this way. Remember that the lab material used in this video is part of this room. We're going to go over task 5, 6, and 7. Okay, so in task 5 we go over the signatures. Let's scroll down directly to the task. Okay, so let's go now to folder task 5. So we go to task 5, and we're required to answer this question. Investigate the PCAP file HTTP. Create a signature shown in the task and investigate the PCAP. What's the source IP of the first event? Okay, so we go here, and as you can see we have a signature file. Let's first run this and make this bigger. Okay, so cd desktop task 5. Let's see here, HTTP. Okay, we have a signature file here. Let's take a look at the signature file. So the name of, or the ID of the signature is HTTP password, and it has these conditions. The protocol has to be TCP, the port is 80, and here the payload specifies what we're looking in the payload content, and here the event that we're looking to trigger. So it is left for us to configure. If you go about to task, as you can see, create the signature shown in the task. So in the task there is a signature here. Let's see where it is. Yeah, this one. Let's copy that, go back here, open the signature file, and paste it. Then we're going to copy the event. There is a bit of lag in the copying process. Let's do that one more time. Okay. The previous one was not copied correctly. We're gonna do it. Okay. So now, let's save the signature and go back to the command line. So cat so now the signature has changed. It's going to look for all the packets where the protocol equals to TCP, the port, the session port equals to 80. Basically we're looking for HTTP packets, and the contents of the payload or the packet should match the word password. If it found the word password, it's going to say, oh, clear text password found. We're going to run the signature file against the PCAP file we're given. So do that. We're going to say Zeke-C-R, specify the PCAP file, and with -s we specify the signature. Now, if we take a look at the contents, we can see that we have two log files have been generated. We have the notice and we have the signatures, meaning that a hit was found. The question is asking, okay, what is the source IP of the first event? So we find this information in the signatures log file. Let's take a look at the signatures. So here we want to extract the source IP address. So we're looking to use the column source address here. We can extract this, remember, using Zeke cut. Cat signature Zeke cut source address. You can see we have two source addresses and they are the same. This is the answer to the question. What is the source port of the second event? So the same here, but we extract source port, and we can see we have 2 ports. I'm gonna answer with this one because it's the second port. Investigates the connection log. What is the total number of sent and received packets from source port 3000 or 38,706? So ls again, and we have one connection log file. We're gonna take a look at the file. And what we want out of this file is these columns. We want to extract the total number of the sent and received packets. So here we have received packets. This one. Total number of sent and received packets. So this is the received packets. So we have this column we're going to extract, and we want to specify the source port. So we also want to extract these fields as well. We want to find out where the packet's coming from and add them together. So what's going to happen here is we're going to do cat connection log and then Zeke cut id dots. This one indicates the, let's see, we don't want the IP address, we want the port. So id dot origin underscore p. So we want to extract the source port. That's the first thing. And then we want, let's see here, this is supposed to be the destination IP address. We want the destination port, so we're going to go with this. So id dot response underscore p. Then we specify the protocol. We want this one, this column or this field. The service, we're going to extract it as well. The origin packets. So you want this. And we want these two as well. We want to sum the total sum of the received and received and the sent packets. Okay. So we want the source port 38706. 38706. It is here. As you can see, the total number is 9 plus 11, which will give us the total number of received and sent packets. It is 20. Create the global rule shown in the task and investigate the FTP PCAP. So there is a global rule here. We're gonna copy it and investigate the FTP PCAP file. Let's go back. So we have an FTP here directory. We're going to go over here and open the signature file. So we have this global rule. It is created for us, but we have to fill some blanks. The FTP here has to be, I'm gonna explain what it does after I copy this. Okay, and then we have the payload down there. Let's do it again. Okay, let's save the file. Go back here, cd to ftp, cat ftp brute force. Alright, this is a global signature, meaning it uses two IDs. We have one under the name ftp username and another one ftp brute. The first one will look for the packets that have the protocol TCP, and it has a regular expression that matches the user. If it finds a packet that satisfies these two conditions, it's going to trigger ftp username input found. Then it's going to jump to the second signature, ftp brute. It's going to look if the packet protocol is TCP and if the payload contains a response code of 530, meaning indicating an incorrect login. And it's going to log an incorrect login attempt or FTP brute force attempt. If these two matches or match, there will be a log file or notice log file. So here, scrolling down, we will run the signature file against the pickup. So Zeke -c-r ftp.pcap-s ftp brute force. Okay, ls, we have notice and signatures, meaning that the signature file has generated hits. The question is saying investigate the log. What is the number of unique events? Let's first cat notice log. So we have so many events here that generated this alert. We want to find the unique events. So what we're going to do, we're going to use the column new ID here. Let's scroll up. Let me show you the column. So in all Zeke generated logs, there will be a field named UID. Okay, let's do this one more time. Head-n10. So we're going to use this field. We want the unique entries or unique events. We're going to use this field to filter them out. So cat notice log, and then Zeke cut UID. Okay, we're going to sort and eliminate the duplicates. So to count them, we're going to use wc-l, and we have 1413 unique events. What is the total number of FTP brute signature matches? For that, we're going to have to take a look at the signature file. We want to extract number of FTP brute signature matches. As you can see, whenever a packet satisfies the condition written in the signature, remember that we output this statement that an FTP brute is detected. We want to find out how many of them invoked FTP brute, or how many of them that were actually a brute force attempt. So we're going to say signature, cat signature, and then we're going to use grep. But we're going to grep the packets that generated the brute force, meaning we're going to have to use this FTP brute or this brute force. So grep FTP brute, and then let's see. Okay, we extracted them now. We're going to count them, wc-l, and they are 1410 brute force attempts. Okay, let's go now to the scripts. We have some tasks to answer. Okay, let's first cd out of this directory, clear cache ls cd task 6, and we have two directories. Okay, so investigate the small flows pcap file. We're going to go to small flow. As you can see, guys, we have the pcap file and there is the script. Let's take a look at the script. This is Zeke script. The Zeke script here extracts the host names, the DHCP host names. The question is asking, investigate the small flows pcap file. Okay, first we're going to investigate this file, meaning we're going to have to run Zeke on this file. So small flows, and then we're going to use this script as well. Oh, okay, so we have a small mistake to correct here. Okay, so look what happened. We have this output indicating that the script has extracted the host names, the DHCP host names in the pcap file. If we ls now, we can see also we have logs. These logs, remember, they are generated because the Zeke has analyzed the pcap file and generated the logs. We have one DHCP log file. If we cat this file, we can actually see these host names. Look here. So we have Vine Lab, that's the first one, and a student. The script that we created here has made things easier to extract these host names actually. Let's go back here and see. Investigate the log file. What is the domain value of VineLab01? So VineLab01 has a domain value of, look, we have a column here, domain, or field name domain, and it is one field away from the host name. This is the host name and this is the corresponding domain name. That's the answer. Investigate the big flows. Okay, so we're going to see the out of small and go to big. Again, we have the same Zeke script. Let's go over the Zeke script. So the same script, the same behavior, it extracts the host name, host names. So investigate the big flows pcap, investigate the DHCP log file with the number of identified unique host names. Fine. So Zeke-C-R, and we have big flows, and then we have DHCP. Let's analyze the, oh, look what's going on, what's happening. So the script here, it is actually extracting the host names from the pcap file. We have all these host names. Of course, the output here is not helpful unless we use, or unless we change the command to other file processing tools in Linux. So now we're going to ls, and we can see we have a DHCP log file. So we have the host names and we have the log file here. The mission here is to find the number of identified unique host names. So cat or let's do this, head-m10. Indeed, in the DHCP log file, we have a field named host_name. We can use this field to extract the host names. Now you might be wondering, oh, why we already have extracted the host names when we first run Zeke, the script, right? Remember, that is true. We have extracted the host names, but we want to count them, how many of them. We cannot rely on this because, as you can see, guys, we have these errors, and if we use wc-l, it's going to count them, and the result will be an incorrect number of host names. That's why we're gonna scroll down and use the use Zeke cat. So cat DHCP and then Zeke cat host_name. So we're going to sort them and unique to eliminate the duplicates and wc-l. So we have 18, but the question is indicating 17. So why is that? To find the answer, we're gonna eliminate the wc-l and display them. So as you can see, we have a new line here that has been counted for some reason. In fact, they are 17, not 18, but the new line has been counted. So we're gonna discount 18 from 1, and we have 17. Investigate the log file again, or the DHCP log file. What is the identified domain value? Back here we have we have field name domain. We're going to extract the values of this field. So we're going to change the field here, host underscore name, and replace it with domain. We're going to cancel these for now. I want to see what are the domains. So we have one domain. This is domain name. All right. Next task is using Zeke scripts alongside the signatures. And we have these tasks to answer. Okay, cd back, clear, cd task 7. Okay, we have 3 directories. Okay, go to folder task 7 101. So 101. And we have 3 scripts and 1 pcap file. Investigate the sample pcap file with 103 script. This one. Investigate the terminal output. What is the number of detected new connections? Alright, first let's take a look at this script and understand what it does. So go back to task 7 101, right click and take a look here. So this script looks like it prints whenever a new connection is detected, meaning in the pcap file, when a host is found to be communicating with another host, it is spotted as a new connection. So we want to spot these packets. So we here have print new connection found, and this is the condition. We actually here print the source host IP address and the source port. I will print as well the destination IP address and destination port. That's what the script does. It extracts these information when it spots a new connection here, indicated by this line. So back here, so Zeke-C-R sample pcap and then 103 Zeke. Okay, let's see here. So we have, as you can see guys, many information that have been extracted. We extracted source IP addresses, source ports, destination IP address, destination ports. All of them, they were spotted to initiate a new connection. Okay, so what we want to do here? We want to find the number of detected new connections. How many of these? We want the count of these connections. So we're going to use grep. Let's look for a criteria that's considered as a common denominator between these events and use it as a filter. It is very clear that if we use the new connection found and count them, we're going to be able to count how many events. So new connection found, and then let's see here if this is the correct command. Okay, we extracted them. Now let's count them, wc-l. And they are 87. Next, we are in the same directory. We're going to go over the 201. And we have again, one signature file, one Zeke script, and one pcap file. Let's take a look at the Zeke script first. The Zeke script, oh, okay, so look at this. The Zeke script here has a unique behavior. It is looking for a signature to match. So meaning, if you see this line, it means that this script is designed to run along a signature. And we have the signature already created here. So here the script will correlate the events along with the signature, okay? And whenever it finds that the signature ID name is equal to F2P admin, it's going to say, oh, there is a hit, and it prints this line. Let's take a look at the accompanying signature file, and we can see that indeed, guys, look at the name of the signature. So the name is F2P-admin. It's going to look for the packets where the protocol equals to TCP, and a regular expression that matches the username admin, and the event will be FTP username input found. That's the signature. Okay, so the signature will be hit if a packet satisfies these conditions. Alongside the signature, here we have the script that's going to correlate the events code by the signature, this line, and it's going to print, oh, FTP admin signature hit. Okay, so we're gonna run these both, or we're gonna run these together. So Zeke-C-R, the file name is ftp.pcap, specify the signature with -s, and then the script. So this is it. Look, so now this is the output we were expecting. This is the output was written by or invoked by the script, right? So ls, you can see we have also log files, connection, notice, signature, and a log file named weird. So what we need to do here, investigate, we investigated, investigate the signatures log file. What is the number of signature hits? How many of the signatures were hit? Cat signature. And we're going to use a common denominator to find out how many signatures that have been hit. A signature is hit if this line was printed. So we're going to use this to filter them out. So cat signature rep FTP admin. Okay, we extracted them, and then WC-L 1401. We are in the same task. Investigate the signatures log. What is the total number of administrator username detections? See here, guys, when the FTP admin signature was hit, we know what is the username that was triggered. The username is administrator. We want to find out how many administrator logins were detected. So we're in the same log file. Instead of FTP admin, I'm going to grep for administrator. And we count them, they are 731. Okay, investigate the pcap file now, but with all local scripts. And investigate the loaded script log. Okay, so here we can say Zeke-C-R and then ftp.pcap and say local. Remember earlier in the video, guys, I told you that if you want to invoke all the local scripts, you can use the keyword local. It's going to apply all the local scripts in the Zeke installation, and if one of these scripts generated an event, you will have a log file named loaded script created. Warning, no site local nets have been defined. It's usually a good idea to define your local networks. Okay, ls, and we have a new log file named loaded_scripts. Remember that this log file is created whenever you run all the local scripts on a pcap file. This file will tell you how many of these local scripts have generated events on the pcap file. So to find out how many of them, we're going to cat loaded scripts. See, all of these are the scripts that were loaded and applied on the pcap file and generated an event. So we're going to grep Zeke. That's a common denominator because we want to count them, and WC-L. How many of the scripts were applied? 498. Okay, go to folder task 7202, CD202, and we have one pcap file or two pcap files. The question is, investigate the FTP brute, this one, with this script. Look at this script. We are specifying a custom script, okay, and we want to investigate the notice log. What is the total number of brute force detections? Okay, so we're gonna copy this, Zeke-C-R ftp.pcap, ftp brute. Okay, and we specify the path of the script, and let's see what's going to happen. ls, and now we have generated some logs: weird, packet filter, notice, and connection log. Let's take a look at the notice log. And we have, as you can see guys, 2 entries indicating that we have 2 brute force attempts, which will answer this question. So that was it guys for today's video. In the next video we're going to talk about the frameworks and packages that can be used with Zeke scripts, and then we're going to wrap up the subject.